Hi, it's Dwyer. It's Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. First week of the NFL playoffs. Let's talk about a couple of picks. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Couple of picks I like. The first pick in the Cowboy-Niner games in Dallas. Right? I'm going to not take a side, even though I know a lot of wise guys love the Niners here. But I'm not going to take a side. I want an alternative over-under number here. I'm going to give myself a maximum chance to win, in my eyes, but I'm also going to pay a little bit on the odds. So, if you're in Vegas and your casino, and you need to look around, offers you alternative over-under lines, I like the under 53.5. Again, the under 53.5, but I'm going to pay for it. It's a minus 163. Right? The under 53.5. I'm expecting a low-scoring game. Let's give a few reasons. The first is the Niners, after giving up a lot of points early against the Rams, started clicking. Started realizing, at least on defense, that they had to win the game to make it into the playoffs. Right? That Niner defense has been a story all year, as has the Dallas Cowboy defense. Right? I think both of these teams have defenses that are going to rise to the occasion. That's the first reason. The second reason is they're downplaying it. But Jimmy Garoppolo has a very sore thumb. He's not 100%. Right? As it is. He doesn't throw the best deep ball. Right? So with this injury, with him unable to really go deep, with the Niners needing to use Deebo Samuels in the run game, and with the Niners being a team that likes to run the football, which takes time off the clock, I think you're going to have a lower scoring game. Finally, let's mention a third reason. Right? I question Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy in playoff games. Right? Both guys have a lot of skills. Both guys look great when the other team is overmatched. When it's a competitive game, I'm not sure if I'm completely comfortable with either Dak or Mike McCarthy. Right? I think the Cowboys are going to leave a little bit on the table in this game. I think that's going to contribute to a lower scoring ball game. Again, I like the under 53.5. Alternative over-under line, I'm going to pay. It's a minus 163. Next, I like the Steelers getting 12.5 points at Kansas City. Right? Let me say this. Be careful of the first quarter. Last year, the Steelers gave away a playoff game against the Cleveland Browns, didn't they? That first quarter was an absolute disaster. I've noticed that Ben takes a while to get going. First quarters aren't good for him. But understand, the Steelers have a very aggressive defense. They get after the quarterback. They have a pass rush. They have a lot of sacks. Right? A lot of sacks. We also know that Tyreek Hill has a heel problem. And we know that Pat Mahomes, let's be blunt here, can be rattled. I think the Steeler pass rush, Steeler pride, as well as the fact that every Steeler knows that this is Ben's last year. And Ben is the kind of leader where the Steelers, because of their pride, are going to rise to the occasion to make sure this guy gets a proper send-off. Right? They're not going to sit there, even if they're on the losing end of this. And in my opinion, allow the team to lose by more than 12.5 points. right? So I believe the Steelers are going to rise to the occasion in Kansas City. Tough place to play. And they're going to cover the 12.5 points. Right? Let me also say, too, that the Chiefs have had some interesting playoff games, haven't they? They were losing in the fourth quarter of their Super Bowl 2 years ago against the San Francisco 49ers. You might recall, too, they were getting beaten up badly in a playoff game, right? Before they even got to that Super Bowl. They had to come back from 24 points down. You're talking about a real streaky team, right? I believe this Steeler pass rush is going to push Kansas City. And I believe KC is going to have some problems. I like the Steelers getting 12.5 at Kansas City, right? I think the line is a little bit outsized. I agree. Statistically, the Steelers don't look like a juggernaut. I'll agree. When you compare Ben's current throws to his past throws, he's throwing a lot of wounded ducks. No question about it. Right? But the Steelers of late know how to hang in there and win close games. Remember that Raven game? Right? This team is too proud, is too playoff experienced, and has too aggressive a defense, in my opinion, to lose this game by more than 12.5 points. Let me also point out, too, that KC, who is favored to win the AFC, right, and according to sports books, KC has bigger fish to fry. You could imagine that there could easily be a backdoor cover here. If KC is up by 14, there's a minute left in the game. The Steelers, out of pride, are still trying to cover the spread, trying to send Ben off with less than a double-digit loss. I could easily see KC playing extremely soft at the end of the game, not having some starters out on the field, because they understand they've won this game, and they're thinking already about the next week. I like the underdog here, getting 12.5 points. Those are the two games that pique my fancy. Of course, you understand the real winners this weekend are the 1 seeds, right? Green Bay and Tennessee, right? You got Tennessee at a plus 1078 to win it all, right? They get to rest. Their players haven't had to prepare for this week. They get to heal. Whatever lingering injuries, they get that week of rest, right? They get reminded of the fact that they got a bye, that they won the conference at the end of the regular season, the 1 seed, right? Those are the real winners. Don't lose sight of that. And of course, those teams get to play at home in week 2. You want to keep that in mind, because if some of these teams this week play hero ball, right? And let's face it, the Raiders are going to have a very hard time matching their emotional intensity from the Charger game, right? Very hard time. If some of these teams play hero ball this week to win their games, how are they then going to travel to cold Green Bay to play the likely league MVP in cold weather, the second round of the playoffs, right? So pay attention to how much effort the teams have to put into winning this week. In an ideal situation, you want a team that you have a futures on to wrap up their game, to be ahead by more than 2 scores by the end of the third quarter, so they can rest some guys, so they can mentally check out of the game. The longer the game is uncertain, the more it lingers, the closer it is to becoming an OT game, the harder time, in my opinion, that team is going to have next week if they win. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Thanks for stopping by.